Okay, so this next topic, as it says here up the top, it says trigonometry, ratios, and applications. So some of this stuff you have done before, plus there's going to be some new concepts involved as we go through. Setting the knot in this first bit, you've done SOHCAHTOA before. But these things are things that we'll need to use next year, particularly when we get into some of the vector stuff next year. So some of the things we do with those will rely on using these trigonometric ratios. And so this year we're looking at some applications of those things. So first up, SOHCAHTOA. You've been doing this for a couple of years now, so probably nothing that I need to go through in terms of that. Remember, it's right angle triangles that SOHCAHTOA works for. So sine is opposite over hypotenuse, cos is adjacent over hypotenuse, tan is opposite over hypotenuse. And also remember that tan can also be expressed as sine on cos. Hypotenuse is the long side, the one that's opposite the right angle. And then the other two sides are named in relation to whether they are next to, adjacent to the angle, or opposite to where the angle is. All right. So this one reasonably straightforward. Identify what sides you got involved. Here we've got the hypotenuse, and this one here is opposite. So it's sine. So sine 29.6 is the opposite over 80. And so 80 times sine 29.6 degrees. And you put that in your calculator and you get 39.515. And so the question says 2 decimal places, so 39.52, and it's centimetres. All right. We can also find lengths of hypotenuse. Here we want to 2 decimal places. Again, here's our angle, so this is our adjacent, so that's cos. So cos 15 is the adjacent, which is 10 over the hypotenuse, which is x. So a bit of rearranging, times both sides by x, and divide both sides by cos 15 at the same time. Then use your calculator, and 10.35 centimetres is the length of that hypotenuse. All right. We can also, of course, can find angles. So here's one where we want to find an angle ABC. So that's the angle made when you go from A to B to C. So that angle that's made is this one in here. So this theta. So whatever's the middle letter, the B, that's where the angle is that we're talking about. All right, so we've got the opposite and the hypotenuse, so that's tan theta is the opposite over the hypotenuse. And so find the angle, we need to use the inverse function. So tan minus 1 of 11 over 3, and you can do that in your calculator. And when you do that in degrees to 2 decimal places, you get 74.74 degrees. All right, so I didn't spend a lot of time going over those in detail because I'm sure that you already know how to do that. All right. However, if you have any questions, make sure you get them seen to, and as always, have fun.